Atomfall, developed by Rebellion, is a survival action game set in a dystopian 1950s Britain. Its promotion and some of its influence came across as a Fallout-style nuclear narrative infused with a retro-futuristic elements, radiation zones, and some rural decay. However, the game offers a more subtle and exploratory experience, drawing inspiration from immersive simulations like BioShock and an atmospheric survival titles like Stalker. In this alternate timeline, the Atomfall incident has turned rural Britain into a quarantined and chaotic landscape, merging Cold War fears with British folklore and blending science fiction with folk horror. While the marketing suggests a loud, action-driven adventure, the gameplay emphasizes gradual exploration and atmospheric tension, prioritizing slow-building suspense over high-octane action. At the game's core, Atomfall grants players the liberty to explore, discover mysterious clues, and uncover dark secrets at their own pace. It effectively captures the feelings of isolation and anxiety characteristic of a post-apocalyptic world through its atmospheric design and player-driven exploration, minimizing reliance on exposition. However, despite its captivating atmosphere and uniquely British surrealism, Atomfall struggles in several critical aspects. The combat system lacks depth, the survival mechanics are a bit underdeveloped, and the tonal inconsistencies highlight a game with ambitious goals that fall short in a technical and mechanical execution. While Atomfall encourages exploration, it often fails to deliver meaningful rewards or challenges, leaving players with a sense of untapped potential. So I think a good place to start with Atomfall is talking about the plot to this game. Atomfall immerses players in a world transformed by a catastrophic event known as the Atomfall Incident. Set in an alternate version of 1950s Britain, the story unfolds in a post-apocalyptic rural landscape where the last vestiges of humanity fight for survival. This environment is strikingly beautiful yet haunting, with its vibrant greenery contrasting sharply against the remnants of a world that has been ravaged by disaster. The adventure begins as players take on a role of a survivor, striving to navigate the chaos and confront the new threats that arise in the aftermath of this calamity. At its essence, the narrative centers on the quest of understanding. What transpired during the Atomfall incident? How did it transform the world? However, uncovering these truths is no simple task. The game features a non-linear storytelling approach, encouraging players to explore and collect clues in a flexible manner. From the outset, player freedom is paramount. There is no straightforward quest list with defined objectives. Instead, the game offers a rich landscape with enigmas that players must unravel through exploration, interactions, and discoveries. In contrast to other post-apocalyptic titles that follow a linear story, Atomfall allows players to delve into the narrative at their own rhythm. The main narrative objectives are twofold: survival and exploration. On a survival side, players must consistently manage scarce resources, fend off hostile groups and some mutated creatures, and traverse the perilous, deteriorating terrain. The exploration element is closely linked, as players uncover remnants of the world prior to the Atomfall incident, including deserted towns, crumbling structures, and enigmatic traces of past technologies, providing not only essential survival tools, but also crucial insights into the overarching mystery. As the narrative unfolds, players discover a variety of characters and factions, each using their own conflicting agendas. These groups possess distinct visions for the future, allowing players the choice to either join forces with them or resist their sway. However, these factions are more than mere quest providers or adversaries, they are integral to the overarching storyline. Your engagement with these factions, whether through conversations, battles, or stealthy missions, will influence your journey as you set the tone for your experience. Some factions may offer help or refuge, while others can harbor sinister intentions, seeking to manipulate their player to their own benefit. The game delves into some moral complexity, where the distinctions between right and wrong are often become ambiguous. Your choices interacting with the characters you meet will have significant repercussions on the world, leading to a variety of outcomes. The dynamic decisions you make, including how you approach the factions and alliances you forge, will ultimately shape the game's ending. The aspect of choice emphasizes the themes of freedom and replayability. There is no single route to success or resolution. Depending on your chosen path, the results could range from personal growth and redemption, or betrayal and devastation. And this narrative unfolds at a measured pace, reflecting the game's intention of exploration rhythm. In a true post-apocalyptic style, deeper players venture into the world's mysteries, The more they learn about its grim story as you navigate the remnants of humanity's once flourishing civilization, you uncover the corrupting nature of power, betrayal, and the extremes to which individuals will go to retain control in a fractured world. Atomfall does not simply hand its story to players, instead it rewards keen observation and interaction, transforming each discovery into a clue that brings you closer to uncovering the truth. The player's primary aim is to survive, gather resource, fending off lurking dangers. However, the broadening mission extended far beyond mere survival. It involves unraveling the mystery surrounding the Atomfall incident and understanding the true ramifications of the choices made in its aftermath. The central enigma propels the story forward, offering both an intellectual challenge and an emotional connection as players delve deeper into the ravaged landscape. In essence, Atomfall presents a vibrant, choice-driven narrative where players' decisions significantly impact the environment around them. The quest for answers and the choices made throughout the journey not only shape the protagonist's development, but also determine the fate of the world itself. With various endings to explore, Atomfall encourages replayability, inviting players to try out different strategies in both storytelling and gameplay. The pivotal questions of what transpired and how will I respond serve as the narrative's backbone, ensuring that each playthrough is distinct, with diverse outcomes based off how the players engage with the world and its characters. One of Atomfall's standout achievements is its steadfast dedication to player freedom. At the heart of this is the lead system, which completely transforms the conventional quest structure seen in many contemporary open world titles. Instead of depending on standard quest markers or maps cluttered with waypoints, Atomfall presents the players with a collection of hints and suggestions. These leads are intentionally ambiguous, sparking curiosity without explicitly directing players on where to go or what actions to take. This nuanced guidance encourages players to explore at their own rhythm, unraveling mysteries of the world through keen observation, experimentation, and intuition. In practice, this approach means that exploration transcends the mere act of just ticking off objectives. It evolves into a journey of discovery, abandoned villages, mysterious cult shrines, and concealed fallout shelters, which transform from mere points of interest into narrative threads that draw players deeper into the game's lore. Each site, regardless of its size or apparent insignificance, holds the potential for storytelling, inviting players to pause and delve deeper. This fosters an experience where the adventure itself is as meaningful as the end goal. The freedom provided to players by the lead system is especially refreshing in a gaming landscape where players are often inundated with markers and task lists. Looking at you, Ubisoft. In this context, the joy comes not only from completing the checklist, but from trusting your instincts and uncovering the narrative in ways that feel more natural. There's a unique thrill in straying from the main path with the knowledge that the next revelation could uncover a hidden aspect of the world's sorrow history or a clue to the overarching story. This sense of exploration grants the game a level of agency that many other titles with more structured experiences struggle to achieve. Now, combat in Atomfall is a very mixed experience. It's functional and at times it is intense, but it ultimately falls short of being the game's highlight. The gunplay is adequate, providing enough variety to accommodate different playstyles, yet it lacks tactile feedback and heft that could enhance the encounters. Weapons feel somewhat lightweight and underwhelming, causing firefights to blend together over time that rarely leave a memorable impact. The AI is where combat struggles the most. Enemy behavior is erratic to say the least. Some opponents remain stationary or have difficulty navigating their surroundings, while others charge at the players without any clear strategy. This inconsistently fails to build tension. Instead, it often feels like a system under pressure rather than a deliberate design choice. The flaw distracts from the otherwise well-crafted atmosphere, particularly when attempting to stealthily navigate tense areas or engage in significant skirmishes. And I want to add a part here, this is one of those games where you can shoot someone in the head with an arrow and the person right next to them just will not notice while pretty much looking at their dead body, but then and 5 minutes later, someone will see you from across the map or hear you just walk over plain ground from half a mile away. It's very inconsistent in that regards. Much of your gameplay will involve melee weapons, particularly in the early stages. These weapons vary from clubs to makeshift farming tools, enhancing the game's survival theme. The melee combat is simple and fairly responsive, though it lacks the impactful feel and refined animations found in top-tier titles of this genre. While it functions adequately and aligns with the gritty, resourceful atmosphere of its setting, it seldom delivers moments of surprise or thrill. The most significant danger in the game arises from robotic foes. With much more powerful weaponry and more aggressive patrol routes, encounters with them are intense and challenging, often compelling players to strategize their tactics or invade them entirely. In addition to their combat prowess, the robots fulfill a vital mechanical function. They drop high-capacity batteries when defeated. What are they called? I can't know. What were they fucking called? These batteries are crucial for powering important facilities, activating machinery, and unlocking vital areas, adding depth to their confrontations with robots being beyond mere survival. Each encounter transforms into a calculated gamble, where the rewards extend beyond loot to include significant narrative progression. While combat is not the main focus of Atomfall, it effectively complements the overarching survival themes. It introduces a level of danger that enhances exploration without detracting from the game's true strengths in the world-building atmosphere. Although Atomfall does boast a survival theme, certain core mechanics such as crafting and radiation fail to provide the challenge that players might anticipate. Crafting is a vital component, yet it lacks the impact it could have. Rather than presenting players with significant choices or strategies, it often devolves into a routine task. Consequently, crafting feels more like a basic necessity than an engaging gameplay feature that truly draws players into its survival experience. In a similar vein, the radiation system, which initially appears to be a major threat in the quarantine wasteland, ultimately feels somewhat lacking. While it is indeed a factor, it does not deliver the level of peril or challenge that one could expect, instead serving as a persistent danger that compels players to make difficult decisions. Radiation often comes as a minor nuisance. Players can easily manage it with the occasional antidotes or by steering clear of certain areas, which reduces significance in the gameplay. This superficial approach to radiation transforms it into a mere obstacle rather than a crucial survival element, diminishing its potential to enhance the game's tension. And this disconnect creates a disparity between the game's richly crafted world filled with dark narratives about survival in a quarantined wasteland and the actual player experience with the world. The oppressive atmosphere, which is filled with danger, does not correspond with how effortlessly players can traverse it. While the game offers an open and exploratory experience, the absence of meaningful challenges in crafting and radiation diminish the sense of genuine survival in such a brutal environment. Although this imbalance is not a deal breaker, in fact far from it, it does hinder the game from realizing its full potential. One of the most notable design choices in Atomfall is the absence of traditional RPG elements like leveling or experience points. In many games, the steady progression of a character's power through experience is a staple, providing a sense of growth and reward that keeps players engaged over long sessions. However, Atomfall takes an entirely different approach that will be divisive amongst some players. Instead of a traditional XP system, the game uses a more abstract progression mechanic through training stimulants. These items scattered throughout the environment provide a single point each when consumed. These points are used to unlock specific skills and abilities which give the player control over their character development. While this system retains a sense of progression, it does not have the same weight of traditional RPG system where each level up feels like a significant achievement. This approach does help keep the game grounded in immersion, focusing on discovery of tools and knowledge rather than abstract rewards. It emphasizes the idea that players are in a world where the character's growth is less about numbers and more about tangible in-world items that contribute to their survival. These training stimulants, in a sense, feel more like relics of a post-apocalyptic world, another reminder of the broken systems of the past that need to adapt and survive. However, this choice also limits long-term sense of player investment. In traditional RPGs, leveling up often brings with it a satisfying feedback loop of accomplishment, whether through unlocking new abilities, improving stats, or simply feeling more powerful with each progression. In Atomfall, that feedback loop is much more subtle and disconnected from the player's actions in combat or exploration. While the environment and world building continue to draw the player in, the absence of ongoing progression system can lead to a sense of stagnation, especially during longer play sessions. For some, this could result in a lack of an intensive push forward, as combat and exploration does not offer the same type of mechanical rewards. However, on a personal level here, I think Rebellion actually made the right choice avoiding traditionally level systems. By removing that external layer of progression, Atomfall is able to maintain a level of immersion that would likely be disrupted by this more mechanical approach. However, I can easily understand how this decision will not resonate with everyone. For players who enjoy the tangible sense of progression that XP-based systems offer, Atomfall will feel less satisfying in the long term and might not provide that addictive loop of rewards that other RPGs thrive on. It's a risky choice for sure, but one that enhances the game's identity, leaning into survivalist, exploration-focused nature of the world rather than offering a predictable grind to keep everyone hooked. It's a bold move that might not be everyone's cup of tea, but it's one that helps maintain the game's unique atmosphere and tone. The visual style of Atomfall presents a truly fascinating paradox. On one side, the vibrant green fields of the British countryside offer an unusual yet captivating backdrop to the post-apocalyptic story. It's uncommon to encounter a desolate landscape illuminated by sunlight and framed by rolling hills. However, this brightness could diminish the game's intended atmosphere. There exists a tonal clash between cheerful, almost picturesque visuals and underlying themes of decay, paranoia, and madness brought on by the Atomfall incident. While some players might appreciate the artistic contrast, others, however, could find that it disrupts the immersion. Nonetheless, this incorporation of distinct imagery such as British pubs transformed into survival centers, cultist altars crafted from repainted road signs, and old military bunkers overtaken by fungal growth, anchors the game in its uniquely British essence. It creates a world that feels authentic and culturally rich rather than simply another generic post-apocalyptic setting. The sound design is generally impressive, with ambient sounds playing a crucial role in creating an immersive atmosphere. However, there are some ongoing technical problems, especially for console users. Xbox players have experienced regular audio dropouts, which can be particularly jarring during stealth sequences or tense exploration. This restraint sometimes veers a little bit into feeling maybe a little bit lackluster. Before we continue, I just want to give a thank you to everybody watching this video. Truly appreciate you. Just having you here means a lot to us. Thank you so very much. If you are enjoying it, be sure to hit a thumbs up and all that good stuff. And hey, if you guys like to know about gaming news and what's going on in the world of gaming, come check out our gaming podcast over on Gronkin Gaming. We are live there pretty much 5 days a week, man. So always something to talk about, and we look forward to seeing you over there. Anyway, getting back to Atomfall. On PC, Atomfall performs quite well overall, although there are the occasional drops in performance in its busier locations or during changes in weather, and I think I had the game crash once while playing through it. In contrast, the Xbox version experiences significant audio issues, with unexpected cutouts that disrupt the gaming experience and may necessitate complete resets to fix. While visual glitches are infrequent, they do include some sporadic clipping and inconsistencies in lighting. The control system in Atomfall is adequate and does serve its purpose, but it lacks a sense of refinement and intuitiveness. Movement, especially during combat, feels very rigid. There are moments when the character's responsiveness seems sluggish. This lack of smoothness in controls becomes particularly apparent during high-stakes combat situations where accuracy and quick reflexes are crucial. Consequently, the depth of combat mechanics is compromised by this, as it constrains the movement and attack fluidity, preventing players from fully engaging in the action. While the user interface is generally straightforward, it does have some inconsistencies that can obscure the experience, especially for new players. Where I consider Atomfall to have its biggest strengths is first in the immersive world building. Atomfall presents a reimagined 1950s England where vibrant green landscapes stand in stark contrast to the haunting traces of this cataclysmic event. The game weaves in elements of British culture, featuring cultists dressed in cricket attire, which enrich the authenticity of its universe. This unique setting combines elements of beauty and discomfort, encouraging players to delve into a world that is at once instantly recognizable, with its narrative revealed through the surroundings rather than through the extensive storytelling. The lead system offers nuanced hints that steer players towards goals in a flexible manner, promoting exploration without the constraints of conventional quest frameworks. Rather than giving explicit directions, the game presents suggestions that foster natural discovery. This approach enables players to tackle objectives in a way that suits them, enhancing the sense of personal investment and satisfaction in their journey. I also really like the way it combines elements of folk horror with the anxieties of the Cold War era, resulting in a distinctive ambience. The rural, mythical aspects of British folklore, such as old age ceremonies, intertwine with the apprehension and tension stemming from Cold War technology and propaganda. This blend fosters a distinct, unique atmosphere where supernatural and political fears can intersect a little bit here, amplifying the game's emotional resonance while maintaining a sense of suspense for players. Atomfall allows players to craft their own adventure through various endings and flexible goals. With its non-linear progression and choices that influence the game's conclusion, the replay value is heightened here. Each playthrough can vary significantly depending on the routes players choose and which decisions they make, providing a unique and captivating experience every time. But where Atomfall falls short is its underwhelming combat. Atomfall's combat system is somewhat shallow, featuring repetitive mechanics and inconsistent enemy AI that can render battles predictable and lacking in challenge. Although the gameplay may not provide significant tactical complexity, it could attract players who value exploration more than combat. And the game not including conventional RPG features such as leveling up, which may not be an issue for everyone, myself included, nevertheless for certain individuals it lacks a character development that could lead to a sense of detachment from the action and overall feeling of progression. And then we had the players on consoles that are experiencing sound issues such as audio dropouts, which completely disrupt immersion, particularly in games that emphasize stealth. Although some of these problems are temporary and can be fixed with certain workarounds, they still diminish the overall experience of Atomfall. Atomfall presents an intriguing yet imperfect experience. Its captivating world, filled with British cultural nods and a sense of atmospheric mystery, invites players into a distinctive post-apocalyptic landscape. The vibrant green countryside strikes a balance between tranquility and unease, creating a backdrop for an adventure focused more on exploration and discovery than on conventional survival tactics. This game's storytelling approach, which heavily relies on its environment and narrative tone, distinguishes itself in a genre often dominated by combat. Nevertheless, despite its compelling setting and the freedom it provides, the game struggles with some fundamental gameplay mechanics. Combat, which starts off with promise, soon becomes predictable due to erratic AI behavior, resulting in encounters that lack excitement. The survival and crafting systems, although included, do feel a bit superficial and do not significantly enhance the overall experience, appearing more as imposed features rather than essential components of the game world. Additionally, the lack of RPG elements, such as character development, diminishes the player's sense of growth and connection to their journey. While Atomfall may initially remind players of Fallout due to its open world exploration and post-apocalyptic theme, it aligns much more closely with Stalker and BioShock in its focus on atmospheric storytelling and environmental engagement. The game shines in its narrative richness and the way it utilizes its world to convey its story, yet it flatters in its gameplay mechanics and technical execution. For those who appreciate atmospheric narratives, Atomfall provides an engaging experience that rewards exploration and offers a distinctly British perspective on the apocalypse. However, if you are in search of a more deeply immersive, system-driven RPG, this game might not meet your expectations. It is definitely a world worth exploring, but its shortcomings may leave you just yearning for that little bit more. But still, with all of that said, there's just something unique and different about Atomfall that kept me engaged the whole time I was playing it. I want to go back and see more endings. I'm invested in this world and the Atomfall event, and I want to know more about this world and the people in it. And I can't help but feel that at the end of the year, when we're looking back at some of the best games of 2025, Atomfall is going to come up in that discussion. In fact, I think it's safe to say that Atomfall might be a sleeper of 2025. But have you been playing Atomfall? Let me know what you think about it in the comments section down below. Appreciate you all being here. Make sure you like, subscribe, share the video, all that good stuff. And if you really enjoyed it, consider becoming a channel member. It really does help with the production of these videos. Thank you so very much. Have a fantastic day, and we'll see you all in the next one. Providing enough variety, variety.